friends, I am back. This is Jay, and I am back with part 2 of our vintage button band faux swag sweater. So don't get it twisted. It's faux swag sweater. It was just my idea of coming up with a way to get people into, a sweater, but faster, without knitting the whole sweater and worrying about trying to get it to fit. This is something so simple. I got it from years of watching tennis when they would take their sweaters off and tie. You know how sometimes they'll tie it around their waist or tie it around their neck. And over the years, I've changed the name, but now I've settled with my faux swag sweater collection. And this is just one more to add to it. Wait till you see what I got coming. All right, now let's get right into it. This is part 2. So you had an assignment to work your sweater up, including the button band, okay, with the yarn O's on every other right side row, to at least half of your back length. You were to measure your back from the top of your shoulder to your waist and just give a nice simple round off number. I used the number 20. I can remember. So that means half of it will be 10 and 10. Well, you're just going to go up probably a little more than 10, up closer to your arm space. Or, you don't have to make it right to your armpits. I said armpits, but you're going to go up to at least the underarm section. With this, where we were doing the stockinette, the button band, and stockinette, knit on every row. On the wrong side of the stockinette, you would purl. The button band had had some different directions. But now the excitement. So this is what you should have, first of all. Take a look at it. Is this what you have? Okay, or something close to it. And if you need to go, oh, well, Jay, I don't think I went up quite enough, or maybe I need to go up a little more, you just keep going. You can listen to me, and then you can just keep knitting a few more rows if you need to go up another whole inch or two, because we're getting ready to do the fun part. I'm going to show you the simple chart, go over, and then we're going to knit the chart together, as I always like to do, because so many people, I'm trying to get people to not so much rely on that written word, because it gets so long and it takes so many, it takes so much typing in words. The chart is so much easier. And then what I'm going to show you how to use the chart and get more out of a chart. Are you ready? Okay, let me just pull this down and we're going to get started. But make sure you take a look, and I hope you're ready to go. All right, so here we are. We are at the lace section of the sweater as we go up this back. Remember, this is the back of the sweater. The whole thing of this was, real quick, back in the day when, I'm talking about the 60s when I was a teenager. And a lot of times we would get pretty sweaters, but you didn't have money to buy sweaters all the time. So a good way to get more use out of the sweater, not only would you wear it buttoned down the front, but then sometimes if you were going somewhere special, you turn it and also let the buttons go down the back. So now, is this the front or is this the back? Well, it's both. It's a beautiful lace. Here's the lace on both sides, and then here's the button band running down the center. Vintage. That's why I threw in the word vintage. Maybe you can remember. If you ever watched, like I said, if you're older like me and you remember American Bandstand with Dick Clark, they used to do this a lot. The girls would wear their sweaters backwards with pencil skirts and those little flat shoes. That's what we did where I grew up in the 60s. So you see the beautiful lace here. And now we're going to, without doing a lot of math or anything, we're going to get ready to just set this lace in a very simple way. And then I'm going to actually, like I said, go over the chart. But I want you to see it close up and done and finished. And see the pretty lace. And I worked it 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I had about 4 times I worked it. Then we'll get into the neck band. All right, so there's that. That's how it looks once you set the lace in. Now, let me show you the lace, the chart, and how we're going to set the lace in. Back in just a moment. All right, let's go over our chart because I like to we always have new friends and fans to join us. Welcome. And we want to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. My things are very simple. I use simple charting. I usually just rechart it in simple symbols. But later on, if there's a need or people want to go into more, advanced, we can do that on down the road. All right, but first of all, looking at this chart, as you can see, a chart is just squares containing symbols. The symbols, the person will tell you in the pattern, the book, or on the YouTube, or wherever, if they're using a chart, what each symbol represents. A symbol can represent more than one thing, so you always have to check their abbreviation section, or their legend, or the key, or any notes they make on the chart, because this symbol, I can use it several, to mean several different things. So my charts are very simple. Like I say, we have an empty square on my charts, an empty square on the front. You can tell the front because the row numbers are over here on this side of the chart. And you can tell this is row 1. Then the row that you don't see anything, that represents the wrong side. On the right side, an empty square or box represents net. On the wrong side, if I don't tell you or the person doesn't tell you anything different, we're simply going to knit back. Here's row 3. It has the symbols. Row 4 is just knit back, and so on and so forth. All right, and then of course yarn overs, we just put a circle, a little zero. Kids, even first graders could say a box, a circle, a stick. So, oh my God, the first graders are so smart now. You have to get them to just show you how to do anything. Okay, so I have a circle to represent a yarn over, and that helps forms a lace. Any symbol leaning to the left, these little sticks leaning to the left, I'm going to use them as a slip, slip, knit. They could also represent something else. They can represent, some places, slip one, knit one, reach back and pass, slip, stitch over it, all those, okay? The simple form is just a slip, slip, knit. Then here are all these empty boxes. A long strand of empty boxes, I go ahead and pre-count before I start working to save me time, and I have less mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That simply tells me to knit 5 after that symbol. Symbols leaning to the right. Can you see the right? Right means knit 2 together. Knit 2 together right here. All right, then you have the circle again, means yarn over. Oh, and I just noticed something. Oops. Let's see if I got... I do have it. I'm going to stop and do this while we're doing it. I forgot to put in the yellow highlight. And I'll tell you why I do this and why this will help you when you're working charts. Now, I could do it a little nicer but I just thought of it and I just saw it. Here's the whole stitch, but in order to use a stitch and make repeats, we need to know, well, where is the repeat of the stitch? Okay, so once I go over and I knit the 2 together, and then there's a yarn over, the yellow highlight tells me stop. Stop. If you want to repeat this stitch, go back up to the front of the box where the highlight was before. Can you see it? Make sure I'm going to hate to do all this and have to redo it. Yep, I'm good. Okay? All right. So you simply just go right back up to the front of the box and start over. Knit 1, yarn over, slip, slip, knit. Okay? Slip, slip, knit. Then knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knit 2 together, yarn over. And if I'm going to repeat it again, I stop, I go back up. And eventually, once you reach your number of repeats, which we're going to be doing when we do the practice, okay, then there is a +1. See that one box at the end? That helps to balance off. since I have a empty box here, I'll end the very row with an empty box. So this stitch is 10 stitches. There's 10 here, and then a plus 1 at the very end. So the multiple of this stitch is 10 plus 1. Does that make sense? All the other symbols are we just covered it, except when you get up here to row 7, you go across. Here is 2 empty boxes, knit 2, 1, 2. There's a circle or yarn over, then there's a symbol leaning to the left, some will slip, slip, knit, yarn over. Then there's this symbol that looks like a little teepee or something. This symbol can be anything. Do you know how many languages and people all over the world? Well, they use some of these symbols too. And I'm just saying, this symbol could be anything. So that's why it's important for you to read over and see what it means. So I'm using it as it's a double decrease, okay? And I'm going to slip 2 stitches and knit 1 stitch, and then I'm going to reach back and pass the 2 that I slipped over and off. Most of the time, the decreases and the increases, yarn overs are increases, these are decreases, will kind of line up on each row until you get into intricate lace, and it doesn't always do that. And but for instance, this slip, slip, knit cancels out that yarn over. This symbol in the center that I'm going to use, the double decrease, will cancel out this yarn over and this yarn over. This is knit 2 together, and it's going to cancel out that yarn over, so that your stitch count on each row stays the same, unless, like I said, you are get into intricate lace, I am not a real lace knitter. Let me just say that. I am a seasoned knitter, and I like to knit lots of different things. And I prefer to go the very simple route because I can understand it and share it with you. But intricate lace knitters, I'm telling you, it will blow you away. The things how their charts read, it's amazing. So if sometimes you get bored looking at some of the stuff on YouTube, go find a real lace knitter. I wish I could think of some of the names. I don't know a lot of the names, but you can find them on YouTube. All right, so now let me think. Okay, remember I said, and I've said this before, and it may escape you, but I'm going to remind you every time we do a chart. When you have the written word, it's just flat on the paper. There's no dimension to the words on the paper telling you this lace. It's just words on paper. When you have a chart, you have a little more understanding, or you can kind of see things more. I can tell that some kind of way there's going to be something that looks like a teepee at the top. And when I do this double decrease, it's going to close it up. See, that's what it does. It's just closing that up. I see yarn over, so I know there's going to be lots of holes, lace. These are decreases. The yarn overs are increases. So it's going to be real pretty. But also, let me tell you this. Sometimes, or all the time for me, when I'm working a chart and I want to add something to the piece of work or piece of fabric that I'm working or designing, instead of getting a book out, 4 more books and trying to go and then look on the YouTube, I just look on the chart. What does this chart tell me? What can I find on this chart that I can make fit this sweater? Because it's already in the chart. When I did the button band, when I was thinking about a button band, instead of looking all over, I just simply looked in the chart, and guess what I saw right away? There's a double decrease right here. The one at the top. Look. It's a yarn over. You slip 2, then you knit 1, then you reach back and pass the 2 you slipped over and all, then you yarn over again. I thought, well, how about if I add some extra stitches and have this as the center button band? Oh my gosh. So now look, and I forgot to really show this, but right here at the top of my chart, I went ahead and charted it out. You see, I simply, with a black marker, I kind of marked out the number of squares that I wanted to make it, and it's 9. Remember, the button band is 9, everyone, everywhere, every size, for this sweater. So how about if I just go ahead and add 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, then the yarn over, then the double decrease, then the second yarn over. That double decrease takes care of those 2 yarn overs, but then I have to balance it off with knit 1, 2, 3. 3, 3, 3, 9 stitches. So that became my button band. I took it out of this chart. I have not moved from my place where I was working. I didn't have to look anywhere else. And then for future references, I wrote button band equals, and there it is. What do you think of that? If you're new to charts, welcome. I have a lot of charts, and I'm just going to keep going, whether I get anybody to watch or not. I'm just going. I'm 78, and look, this ship has left. This train has left the station. I'm too old to go back. I have to go on with what I know. When you don't know what to do, do what you know. I know how to do this in the simple form. All right, now let's get ready to knit. You're going to need some whatever size needle. I use either number 8s or number 9s for the weight of yarn. I use a medium light number 4, or you can use maybe even some DK weight or number 3 weight yarn. It's just whatever you'd like to try and see if my numbers, and we've already done the chart, see if it will fit your body. I use a number 9 because I have grown fluffier over the years while I have sat knitting and trying to design and share things with you. Look, it's your fault. It's your fault. Okay, so let's get ready to knit. All right, back in just a moment. All right, right before we get ready to knit the chart, for those that are seasoned like me and says, okay, Jay, I don't need to make the swatch to practice. I'm ready to put it in the sweater. All right, all you need to do is to take your piece of fabric, okay, go to where the button band, because it is fixed, it is correct. Go to the button band. We're going to repeat the chart. For most people, I think through work, we're going to repeat the chart 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30, plus the 1 at the end is 31. So count back from the button band 31 stitches. 1, 2, 3, all the way 31, and put a marker right here. Put a marker. You have your border markers. Your markers are still in place, but you're going to put a marker to represent 31 stitches. But count back. Don't start over here and trying to, well, because you might miscount. Go to the button band, count back 31. Back. Marker. Okay? Then go to this side. Start at the button band. Count over 31 and put a marker. Now you're ready to start row 1 as I do the little swatch for people that are new, which I'm just going to do 2 repeats on it. But you're going to be doing, for the real sweater, you will be doing 3 repeats. Can you see them? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 repeats, 31 stitches. Okay. All right. Let me just move this over and reset and see if I can put my little sample back. And let me see, can I pull the, I will make sure that you had hopefully had a chance to get a picture of the, now I have to adjust. All right, let me adjust my lights. I'll be right back. All right, I've got my swatch here. For those that are working the swatch, I cast on 29 stitches and I knit 2 rows, and you will be ready to work row 1, and I'm doing 2 repeats. Okay, so, and those that are ready to just go ahead and work your sweater, that you don't need to work the swatch, you're just ready to work. You knit the border, knit those extra stitches in between the border and the chart, and we are getting ready to work row 1 of the chart. Like I said, very simple, very easy to do. Row 1, I'm on, first of all, everybody will, let me go ahead and knit my little 4-stitch border. Just like this. Okay, you can put markers in between each repeat to help you so that you will know if you've made a mistake, okay? Or just to help you know when where the repeats separate. Alright, so I'm up to my first repeat of the stitch. I have a mark, I slide the marker. Okay, it starts with a knit 1, yarn over. Now I'm going to slip, slip, knit. Make sure I'm on camera here. Slip, slip, knit. And since I've pre-counted and marked the empty squares, I knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now I'm at the symbol leaning to the right. Here, I knit 2 stitches together. And then I do the yarn over, and then I stop and I put a marker. So I'll know that's the end of the first repeat. I'm just working 2 on this sample. Go back up to the front because that's what the highlight tells me to do. Now I'm at the front of the box again, so I knit 1. I had to tie on some yarn. Normally I don't try not to make knots, but okay, let me pull it now. Right here, knit 1, now yarn over. Now I'm going to slip, slip, knit, just like that. And then I'm going to knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now I'm at the symbol leaning to the right, so I'm going to knit 2 stitches, kind of pull down on them a little bit, get my needle in there. I knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, and if you have another repeat, you need to stop and go back up to the front of the box. I'm at the very end since I'm only doing 2, and I end with a knit 1. Okay, now I'm going to slide my marker and just knit the border. And we are starting this pretty lace little diamond stitch that I think you'll like. Now I think when I was talking earlier, I said when I turn the work that we knit back, but really we're going to purl back, and you can see I have it written in right there. Just a reminder, wrong side purl. So I will simply turn the work, and I will knit my border, then bring the yarn in front. I will purl all the stitches across to the end border for this swatch, put the yarn in back, and knit those 4 stitches. If you're working on your actual sweater, you will follow the setup of the sweater. Okay, I will see you at row 3. So I'll go ahead and mark it so I won't forget. I will see you back at row 3. Alright, we are on the right side again, and we're up at row 3. Now, people that are working on your real sweater, you stay in your sweater pattern, and don't forget the button, when to increase on the button band or do the yarn overs. Every other right side row. Alright, so we're on row 3 now, everyone, everywhere. If you're working the chart with me, I, of course, knit my little border for this little swatch, just to kind of get you settled in with the stitch. It's a lot going on. Alright, once I slide the marker, after I do my border, there's 2 blank squares. So I knit 2. 1, 2. Then I yarn over. Now symbol leaning to the left, I slip, slip, reach back and knit those 2 stitches, just like that. Now I knit 3. There's 3 empty boxes in the center, so knit 1, 2, and 3. Alright, I'm up to the symbol leaning to the right, so I want to knit 2, get under 2 loops, right, just like that. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, and the highlight tells me to stop, right here, stop, and go back up to the front of the box. I slide the mark if you've got some markers in between. Start again, knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to knit 2 stitches together. Got to get under 2. Yarn over. Now, since I only had 2 repeats, when I get to this last box here, if I had another repeat, I had to go back up. So I just simply knit 1, knit 2. See those 2 stitches left? I just knit 2. After that yarn over, I knit 2. 1, 2. Just make sure you got the yarn over. Slide the marker now for the little border on my little swatch, and I knit 4. Okay, when I turn the work, of course, you're on the wrong side of the fabric. And I'm going to knit the border, then yarn in front, purl all the stitches across the chart, and then put the yarn in back and knit the last border. I will see you at row 5. I'm trying to get it all in and for it not to be too long, because you may be as hot as we are here in the hot ATL. We're in the burbs. Row 5 on the right side. Back in just a moment. Alright, we are up on the right side for row number 5. This is a pretty little swatch. Of course, I've worked some way ahead of you, so you don't see that much yet. Okay, row 5. It says, starting at the highlight right here, it says knit 1, yarn over. Now you're going to slip, slip, knit. Get in the frame, slip, slip, knit. Right there. Then right here, the next thing is a yarn over. And then slip, slip, knit again. Slip, slip, knit. Just leaning to the left. Now right in the center, you simply knit 1 stitch. Now on this side, it leans to the right, so I'm going to knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together again, have to pull down. Then I do a yarn over for my first repeat. I slide the marker to separate the repeats, and then I take my eye back up to the beginning of the box, and it starts again with, I'm going to hold this yarn over, and my marker, I'm going to hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to slide my needle, knit 1, yarn over. Here we go again. Slip, slip, knit, then yarn over again, slip, slip, knit, then you knit 1 for the center. Now I'm on this side of the center. I knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together, then I'm going to yarn over, and since I'm only doing 2 repeats, I have 1 stitch at the end. I'm going to knit that 1 stitch, slide my marker, and then knit the 4-stitch border. Just like that. Okay, like I say, you're at the bottom, so you still don't have enough to see yet, but it will. Once you do this first one, then it goes faster. Alright, so now, on the wrong side, I'm going to purl back, except for the borders. I will meet you for the last right side row, is row 7, and we will do our double decrease. Alright, there you go. Back in just a moment. Alright, we are up to the last pattern row, and after this, we're going to talk and I'll give you some instructions. Alright, so real quick, just so that I have it on camera that I knitted this chart. Even though I know you can knit this chart on your own. All right, row 7 up here starts with 2 empty squares, so I'm going to knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, then there's the slip, slip, reach back and go back into it and knit it, knit that stitch, slip, slip, knit, there it is, then a yarn over. Now we're up to the double decrease right in the center. It takes 3 stitches, so just go ahead, and I got the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3. See how it lines up? Okay. All right, you're going to, it says over in the notes section, you're going to slip the first 2, knit 1, reach back and pass those 2 that you slipped over. There's 1, and then there's number 2. I do them separate. You can do them however you used to. Now you're on the other side of the center. You're over here. So now you're going to yarn over, and then the next center leans to the right, so I'm going to knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1. I'm at that highlight. Tells me stop. Go back up to the front of the box. I'm going to slide my marker. I'm back up at the front of the row. It says on 7, knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, slip, 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 knit, yarn over. Now the double decrease, look for the 3 stitches. Takes 3 stitches to do it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I slip the first 2 just like that, knit the last stitch. Now reach back and lift them up and over. Pull down. I like to pull down, yarn over, right on this side, yarn over. Now I knit 2 stitches together, yarn over, and since this is my last repeat, I have 1, 2. I have 2 boxes left, so I'm going to knit those 2 stitches. 1, 2. I have my marker for the border, so I slide the marker and knit off the 4 stitches. Just like this. Woo! Woo-wee! That is going to be your first repeat. If you're new and you're still kind of getting your feet wet in knitting a chart, I suggest you knit the chart again. You'd purl on the wrong side. You go ahead and do the marker, then purl across. Then when you come back to row 1 down here, you just simply start again. That double decrease at the top, you see that little point right there? You see how it points? See how it points? That's the stitch right there that gives the point. So if you just finished the first point, or the first chart, now I would go ahead and do it a second time. Just to have it, just so you feel comfortable. Of course, seasoned knitters, you're going to just start, you're working on the real sweater, and I suggest you do the chart 4 times. So that was 1, then you start again, 2, 3, until you have 4 repeats, or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 points at the top. Can you see the points? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, of course, I'm going to stop right here, let you start working and catch up. Then the rest of the sweater, we're just going to walk you through it because it's the same setup. I'll tell you if I've done anything different. And then I have a little surprise at the end. And then at the very end, I start putting in this new section called My Last Thought. But right now, you're just working whether you're going to do a second repeat for the swatch or you're working the 4 repeats on the original sweater, being careful to watch your button band. Put markers, do whatever you need to do to keep up with when you increase on the button band of your sweater. Okay. Keep knit, and I'll be back shortly. Well, my friends, as you're knitting, I'm going to go ahead and come back, and so I can start walking you through, and you can just kind of look, and as you're working the chart, either on the real sweater or the swatch, so that you will know the next step. All right, so as you're knitting up, remember the whole purpose is to have a space and to know about how many inches in that space from the top of your shoulder down your back to say your waist. And you don't have to hit that exact measurement, but you want to stay close to the measurement, whether you go over a little bit or you just under. But so I used 20 because it just started working for me, so I just kept using the same number. Okay, so I know that now as I work up on my sweater, as I worked up, working my 3 repeats of my little lace up on the sweater, I would stop every once and take a measurement to see how close I was getting to my total number of inches. All right, hopefully you're under that number. If you've gone over, then you really just kind of went to town. But you don't worry, you can always pull back as long as you're in your stockinette, or you can knit less chart repeats. But I have 4, and it looks real pretty, and it fits in just right. So once I finish that, I'm still working the button band. I found that I could maybe go up about another inch, and just after I finished the charts, then I just started knitting, across, knitting and purling back, doing the stockinette. Knit on the front, purl on the back, keeping my button band in the same stitches. And I could maybe knit up about another inch and a half, say an inch and a half. So you can see right here, from where I stopped the lace, and I knit a little bit more to get up to about, remember my total number is 20, so I want to make sure I get my neck around 2 inches less than my total number. So usually I look for my neck to be around at about 18 inches. It might fall over a little bit into the 19. It's no big deal, okay? You just need some kind of parameters to know, hey, if I'm using 20 and I wind up with 26, I'm way up in 26, 27, I've just gone awry. I've just gone rogue. So it's just something to help you know where you are. So I see that once I did the inch and a half, and I see that I have at least about 2 more inches, a little more than 2 more inches or something to do my neck, because I have to set in this neck. Now I went ahead, since the bottom of our sweater is worked in the 1x1 rib, which we really went through it step by step, I'm going to do the same. Everyone, everywhere, every size, your neck stitches is 31 stitches. If you count all your stitches across and you have an odd number, then your number for your neckline is 31. If for some reason you have an even number, whatever it is, I don't know, but if you have an even number, then your neck just drops down 1 stitch and becomes 30 stitches for the neckline. You don't have to undo anything, you don't have to calculate anything, you just go to 30. But if you have the odd number, like I have most of the time when I do my sweaters, I wind up with an odd number from the border on this side all the way across to the border on this side. It's usually an odd number because I set it up that way. All right, so I would use 31. If you take 31, okay, so you're going to set aside 31 stitches. You know how you count in from there, from your border. And then you count back 4 to make a border, and then you count over 4 to make a border on this side, and then the rest of it is just filler stitch. You're just doing a stockinette stitch. You are going to work your neck band, or your 1x1 neck band, for at least an inch and a half. Inch and a half seems to have been a good number. It seems to work fine. When you get into going over 2 inches, I think it's overdone. So an inch and a half on this 1x1 rib at the neckline. And remember, when you get ready to bind off, make sure you're on the wrong side row and bind off in the knit stitch. You don't have to bind off in pattern unless you just want to. For these sweaters, it just works out great to bind off on the wrong side so that you get these pretty little purl bumps at the neck, and it doesn't stretch out of shape as when you stay in pattern sometimes. Sometimes that gets kind of wonky after you wear them a while. Alright, but this holds its shape. Once you're there, then the next step, of course, remember, we're separating now. You have your border going down. All this is the same. You have your border going down on this side, 4 stitches to match the 4 stitches over here. I'm trying to keep things the same, 4 stitches on this side to match that 4 stitch border. Now you're going to work down. You'll need maybe an extra go down maybe a shorter, so you don't have that long circular needle. But you work with whatever you have. Don't buy nothing, people. Okay, we got enough stuff. Alright, so now I'm working down one. Now I'm going to pull this over. Now we're at the sleeve, the faux sleeve. See if I'm on. See if I got the camera good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, I know one day I'm going to get some good lighting. I have a ring light. I'm just too lazy to get it out and put it up. I ordered that thing a year ago. Oh, gee. You know what? There's certain things, certain privileges you get with getting old. And one of the first things is you can just do what you want to do. You can listen, then go, okay, and just do what you want to do. So, I am working on this faux sleeve. I have to tell you some of my story sometimes about since I've gotten older. Okay, so I'm working down this faux sleeve. You know, once we get to the neck and we bind off the neck, now we're working these garter rows, stitches down the neckline. And from that point, it's all about the ridges. And if you're not sure how to count, remember at this point, once you get enough, you're working back and forth. You're just working now. You got your border, you're knitting across, you got your border. Okay, now as you start coming across on one faux sleeve, you need to know where to stop so you can start decreasing the sleeve. This is when I suggest you kind of put the sweater around your neck a little bit. You know, try to get it to fit on your back and kind of get it to fit around your neck. Go to the mirror, make sure you have on a good bra so that you're lifted up. And see about how many ridges, not rows, but these ridges right here on the neck side. How many ridges will it take to get to the center of your bust line, going across like this? How many ridges would it take to get down? And so, just out of practice, out of doing them several times, sometimes I'm at 28, sometimes I'm at 27. Pick, if you start, you get one or two or three numbers. Pick one. Just pick one and make it an even number. So I picked 30. I just said, okay, I'm going to just do 30. I had on my good bra, and I had it all lifted. I was all lifted up, and I thought, well, even though I'm short, but I had started with 30. I probably could have done 28, so I just stayed with 30. So that means I counted my ridges. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I kept working stockinette. Knit on the front, purl on the back for at least 30 ridges, not rows. The ridges are right here on the neck side of the sweater. See, here was the neck, and I'm counting. And then once I get to row number 30, I finish that row, I knit across, I purl back. Now, from that point on, I am going to start a decrease. We've gone through it several times on every sweater. And you simply do the same decrease each time. See how the sweater, the sleeve narrows? And I could have turned it the other way, but I get so tired of moving it. It is so hot. Okay, you see how it narrows down? Well, okay, that's because I'm decreasing, and on this side of the sweater, I do a slip, slip, knit. I work the border, I slide the marker, slip, slip, knit across. When I get to 2 stitches before this border, I knit 2 together so that it leans in, slide the marker, and do the border. I purl back. Then you have to knit another row, purl back, then the next right side row, every other right side row, I'm going to do a decrease. If you can't remember it, you can put it on the masking tape. I've shown that several times. Okay, so now by now, if you've done it, you're getting a handle on it. You go, okay, Jay, I got that. So you see how the faux sleeve tapers in just a little bit. You could leave them wide, but it would make a great big crossover to me. I think it would be too thick with yarn. So that's why I made them go down a little bit. Now the fun part of this one is I decided to put that same chart on each sleeve. Now, how you know when to stop the decrease, after you work so many decreases, stop every once in a while and count the stitches between the borders. Not, you don't need to count the borders, just in between, right here. If you have 16, stop. You have decreased enough. If you have 17 stitches, that's even better. It depends on if you started with an odd number or an even number. I got that all taken care of in here, so you don't have to do no math. You don't have to rip out, or you don't have to figure anything. It works out every time. The best number to have is when you count all the stitches. If you have 17 stitches, perfect. If you only had 16 left in here, it's okay. We will add one when we get, if you're going to add some decoration, or when we get to the cuff. So for instance, I have 17 stitches. I counted between the two borders. So I just keep on knitting. This faux sleeve, before we can start the cuff, you need to go 2 inches below the back edge of the sweater. The bottom edge of the sweater, you'd keep knitting this sleeve at least maybe 2 inches, just to clear it, because in the front of your body you have a bust, and you need a little extra clearance for your bust. Alright, so once you do that, then you can start your cuff, if you're going to make a cuff. But before that, I decided, when I got to the bottom edge of the sweater, I decided to put one repeat of the chart right here on the cuff. Can you see that? That's just one repeat. 8 rows. And all I did was, alright, remember, the chart is 10 stitches plus 1. So that's really 11 stitches for one repeat. Well, if you take 11 from 17, you get a perfect number. You'll have 3 stitches on this side, then the chart, and then 3 stitches on this side, and of course your borders on each end. If you only had 16, we'll just add 1 stitch on one side. We'll just pick up a stitch. We'll just add a stitch as we're knitting across. We can do the border, do 3, knit the chart, and then on this side we have to add 1 stitch to make it come out even. So how cute is that? So I picked that up, then I laid it down again and measured against the back, and so I was clear my back edge, and I had gone at least 2 inches, maybe a little more, because I added this design. Then I start my 1 by 1 rib to match the bottom. Like I say, odd number works out best. The first stitch is an edge stitch, so I knit. Then on the right side, I knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl all the way across. When I get to the end, I should end with a knit, purl, knit, and then 1 edge stitch that I will knit. On the wrong side, you just come back and you work it just like you did the neckline. And to make the cuff really pretty, if you could make it 3 inches, at least 3 inches for your cuff, really makes it pretty. Make sure you are on the wrong side when you want to bind off. You bind off just like you did the neck. Bind off on the wrong side, but with the knit stitch. See, it puts that line, because this is going to curl in. People who don't understand knitting, you know, they may have a problem with, well, the sleeve curves in. Well, it's supposed to. It's a sleeve. But now, the rest of it I'll show you later when I show you how, go back over, remind you to steam. So then you have that one cuff finished. Now you go back up to this side. You need the needles. You can use that same needle if you want to, and you pick up the stitches what you had left on that long needle. You just transfer them. Don't try to knit it, just transfer them onto the new needle. Now you start working back and forth, just like you work this side, and you do the exact same thing on this side to get your faux swag sleeve. Does that make sense? Let me just take a look. I know I got it kind of stretched out here, but I'm just doing a lot of talking now because we've done this so many times, and we're going to continue to work for those that are liking this. And I'll wait to the end. I'll give it a shot. I got a shout out. So now the next step is, of course, to start weaving in all your ends, doing everything. We've got to put our buttons on, and then a couple other little quick things I want to show you or tell you or remind you. I can go ahead and remind you of this though. When you're weaving in your ends, remember the main part at the neckline is, if you have some yarn left, make sure you always go back and reinforce. See how that forms a 90-degree angle? Well, we don't want a 90-degree angle. We want to kind of softly use some extra yarn, whether you have a tail left or you have to get your yarn needle, and then just kind of weave in and out and work across so that when you hold this open, like on this side, see, I've already done this side, see, it goes straight and not so much of a 90-degree angle, but you can pull it out so that it's nice and straight, and that 90-degree angle right there at the neck is reinforced, and it's not going to come out, and you're going to get a lot more wear. And there's no holes. That's the main thing. There's no holes at that 90-degree angle. Where this one is a little loose, so I left a tail so that I could kind of reinforce it. So that's something you need to do when you're weaving in your ends. How about that? All right. That's a mouthful, but I'm trying to really kind of get you going, because most people now are knitting. And if you give this a try, I just want you to get I want you to get good results, because it is a nice, fun piece. It can be dressed up or it can be dressed down. Like I say, you should see the ones that are coming up. Some of them are dressed up. This one I call a dressed up one, because we're going to get ready to put the buttons on. All right, so go ahead and work on that, and I'll come back, and then we'll do a last thought. We are knitting Jay's Vintage Button Band Faux Swag Sweater. It's just for you. All right, back in just a little bit. All right, my friends. So, I wanted to go over, as you're working, still knitting, and you're just kind of looking. You're just looking and listening. I went ahead and put on my little buttons so I can show you. But before I put on the buttons, I didn't go over. You really need to take the time to steam. To steam on the wrong side. I always steam on the wrong side of my fabric. It doesn't matter. I'm not one to do a lot of wet blocking, because I don't have that room all over my house and have wet stuff. So, but if you have wool in yours and you know what you're doing, you just block it the way you know how. I steam. Normally, I would take this to my ironing board, lay it out, especially this back. In fact, I'll turn it, and then I'll turn it back. Okay, so let me take this ring off. Kind of pulling some of the main thing is to steam your back so that you get the full expansion of your back. If you don't, it's going to be kind of shrunk in the back. You want to lightly steam it. Turn your iron so you know that there's steam coming out. Then turn it, set it down just a little lower so it's not so hot. It doesn't need to be hot if it's just regular, inexpensive yarn. Like I say, if it's wool, you know what to do. I sometimes take a pillowcase to keep from anything happening to my sweater. I take a pillowcase, a little inexpensive pillowcase, not a good one, one of those old worn out pillowcases you got. Okay, and I lay it across my work on the ironing board. Now I can actually iron across the pillowcase. Don't press hard, just let the iron glide across. I try to make sure these edges, they will roll in a little bit, but that we who knit understands knit. We understand knitting. We understand the fabric, we understand the stitch. That's, so you go ahead, you lay it out flat as much as you can, get it to kind of go flat, then you lay that pillowcase across it, and you actually iron on the pillowcase. Just don't press, just lightly glide. Your iron is not super duper hot, but there's some steam coming out. All right, then you slide it over, and then you put the pillowcase over, the lace, everything in the bag, and just lightly glide your iron over it, because you're ironing on the pillowcase, and you're on the wrong side of the fabric, all the way across. You can tell I'm running out of steam, people. I got 2 videos up today in 2 days. I'll tell you, one of them, my friend, Hey Anna and Catherine, they had sent me some pictures, and I was determined to get their video up. My next friendship album coming up after this part 2 video. It is so cute. It's just plain stinking cute. Thank you, ladies, and I'm gonna give you a nice shout out on the video. You know, when you see it. So I'll make sure the pictures you sent me, you represent it well. Thank you. But you need to steam. And then here on the faux sleeves, it's the exact same thing. I turn it on the wrong side. Yes, they're going to roll in. That's just the nature of the stitch and what we're doing. And it will roll in, and that makes the faux swag sleeve. Can you see that? So, you know, just by talking to people, sometimes you understand that they really are just getting into knitting, because you know the nature of knitting and the knit stitch. And we love it. Those that us knit, we don't care. We love it. We don't have a problem. Oh my gosh, we're so excited when we get done with something. And it looks so pretty. Nobody's going to run up and go, well, that's rolled. Well, why is that? Nobody's going to do that but you. Okay, so now let's turn back. Boy, Jazz, I don't know if it's my age or it's because I'm just so hot. Oh, my senior mojo is coming out. So now let's go back. So now I'm on the front. Oh my God, can you see it? Let's see. I'm trying to look through the viewer, make sure I got it lined up. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so I put my buttons on, and what I would do for my buttons, I would take just some yarn, that the regular yarn that you made your sweater with, and cut you a nice long strip, and then look, open the yarn up, split it till you have maybe 2 strands of each or 3 strands. Just split it like when you're doing needlepoint type yarn or cross stitch. You know, you split the yarn, split it like that, and then put it through your needle, yarn needle, whatever. And then I just make sure, oh, these are buttons with the shank on them. See the little shank on there? Now you can use other buttons too, but these just happen to have the little shank on there. So all I did, I started up here at the top. I put a button in that center, see that center groove there? That's where the button goes, because these are not, since they're faux, they're just make-believe, people. Then I counted down four holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 4th hole, I put the next button. Then I counted 1, 2, 3, 4. The next button. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next button. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next button. See? It was a lot easier to do that than trying to measure. And see if you have enough buttons to make it all the way down. I didn't go on the very bottom, but I did have, so I have 6. So before you start, make sure you have some buttons, that you have enough of one, the buttons to go all the way down. So there's that, with the buttons on there. Is it the front? Is it the back? It's both. Isn't that pretty? Now, oops, hit the camera. Oh, Lord, I'm so tired. I'm about to fall out. Okay, so, I'm trying to think of anything else. So this is kind of my last thought. Okay, what else can I tell you? We went over the steaming a little bit. It's all rushed, but it's over the steaming. You know do the corners at the neck. You put your buttons on. Everything looks great. Your little faux sleeves look so cute. See that? See? It looks like almost like a real sweater in the front, doesn't it? You got your arms crossed. Look at that. I need to take a picture of that. That's a money shot. Okay, but that's the back of the sweater. How cute is that? Now, like I said, for my last thought, you may say, "Oh, Jay, that's cute. Oh, that's cute. Do you have anything that's not so dressy?" I don't really dress. I don't dress. Okay. What if? Yes. Let me show you what. The last thought is, if that's a little too dressy, what if you just change the color? What if you just change the color? Look at this. Here it is. I just did the button band in a blue. Yeah, I'm going to really pull in. What if you just change the color to whatever color that looks good with your skin or hair or your favorite color, or just something, maybe something you've got, you going somewhere and you think, "Jay, this would be perfect and it wouldn't take near as long if I go ahead and get started." So there's the button band. Here it is in a blue. Now you have to make sure you have some buttons. I went through my stash. Look at all these buttons I have. These buttons, you know what year I bought these? I don't even remember. But aren't those pretty? Look at those pretty blue. I know I have another pack of these somewhere, so I'd have 2, 4. I have enough to go maybe down the back. So I could put these on this blue if I wanted a little bling. Okay, we're going out to the park. We're going somewhere. We're going out to eat. Whatever. There's that. Okay, what about, okay, not so dressy? Look at that. Wouldn't that, can you see that on there? I can't bend, the cards are so stiff I can't bend them back. But look at that. You put that right on, the button goes on that center section right there. Can you see it? So the buttons would go there. Let's see if I found any more. I tried to look. Oh, I found some here. I didn't feel like taking everything out. Okay, here's a little blue. I used to have a bunch of these little buttons, a little shank button, and they were kind of iridescent blue. See, they would go perfect right there in the center, in that little space. And you'd count down. Oh, look at that. Now, blue, since blue can go with silver. What about this? Just a plain silver button. I got a lot of these buttons, I'd get them. Look at the silver one. Look at that. Here's another silver one. Look at that. I think I have some more of those. Let's change. So if you need a different look, maybe if one color is too dressy than what you need, then find another color. Find your buttons first, and then, because you can always find yarn to match something. So I'd find my buttons first. Isn't that pretty? Just in another color. Just a last thought. From Jay and Bird. Just for you. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this. I'll just put all these up there. They're so pretty. I hope you are enjoying this series because, like I say, if not, I'm sorry. But I have to keep going. I'm having a blast. I'm enjoying it. It's less work. It's less stress. You don't have to worry so much about the measurements and the gauge and all of that. All you got to do is just follow the steps, because the steps are pretty much the same every time, except when we throw in something a little different to kind of jazz it up. And I have more button bands. I got other button bands coming. Let's see, what else do I have that's coming that's really cute? Oh, okay. Like I said, the next video that you're going to see after this one will be the friendship album from my friend Anna and Catherine. Then I've got a new Faux swag sweater that is so pretty. It's really pretty. I think you'll like it too. So, I don't know what else to say, but I'm going to get out of from under these lights. This is Jay. This is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Thanking you to each and every one everywhere. Thank you for all your support, your love, your encouragement. Thank you. I'm telling you. Like the older I get, the more I have to lean on you. So, until the next time, stay tuned for the next video coming up. This is Jay and Bird saying bye-bye for now.